He fed his neighbors human flesh, and they never knew the Ruhr cannibal. For 21 years, he lived quietly in an apartment building in Germany. His neighbors liked him. The children in the building called him Uncle Joachim. He worked as a toilet attendant. He kept to himself. He smiled when he passed people in the hallway. And for 21 years, nobody knew that he was bringing pieces of human flesh home, cooking them in his kitchen, and eating them at his dinner table. His name was Joachim Kroll, and he was only caught because he blocked the toilet with a 4-year-old girl's intestines. The man, Joachim Georg Kroll, was born on April 17, 1933 in Hindenburg, Upper Silesia, now part of Poland. The sixth of 9 children born to a miner whose entire family was uprooted and displaced after the Second World War. His father spent the war years as a prisoner of war. The family eventually settled in North Rhine-Westphalia in northwestern Germany. Kroll was considered slow by his family and community. He was a bedwetter as a child. He was socially isolated and deeply stunted emotionally. He had no meaningful relationships and no ability to form them. Forensic psychiatrists who later evaluated him described him as having severe intellectual disabilities, a man who functioned at a significantly below-average cognitive level and who had never developed any genuine understanding of consequences or remorse. In January 1955, his mother died. 3 weeks later, Joachim Kroll committed his first murder. 21 years. His first confirmed victim was 19-year-old Irmgard Strell. He lured her to a barn near the village of Wallstedt, strangled her, raped her corpse, and disemboweled her with a long-bladed knife. She was found 5 days later. Nobody connected the crime to Kroll. That was February 1955. He would not be caught until July 1976, 21 years later. In between, he killed a confirmed minimum of 14 people. His victims ranged in age from 4 years old to 61. He strangled most of them with his bare hands. He selected them in parks, along walking paths, near train stations, in fields, always somewhere isolated, always somewhere he could disappear from quickly. He deliberately moved between different towns and cities across the Ruhr region of northwestern Germany so that no single police department would accumulate enough cases to build a pattern. What made him almost impossible to catch was something even more disturbing than his method. Because Kroll operated across multiple jurisdictions at a time, when German police departments shared little information with each other, and because several other killers were operating in the same region during the same years, his murders were repeatedly attributed to other men. 6 innocent men were arrested and charged for crimes Joachim Kroll had committed. At least 2 of them died. One took his own life after his neighbors drove him to it with their suspicion, and another died in custody. Kroll knew none of this. He did not follow the news. He had no idea his crimes were being broadcast nationally or that police were desperately hunting a killer they could not identify. He ate the flesh of many of his victims. He carved portions from the buttocks and thighs, the parts he described to investigators as the best cuts, cooked them at home, and ate them. He told police during his confession that he did this to save on his grocery bills. Meat, he explained, was expensive. The arrest. On July 3, 1976, Joachim Kroll abducted 4-year-old Marion Ketter from a park near his apartment building in the Lahr district of Duisburg. He took her home. Later that day, a neighbor in the apartment building noticed the shared waste pipe was blocked. He knocked on Kroll's door and asked if he knew what was causing the blockage. Kroll answered the door calmly, thought about it for a moment, and said one word: "Guts." The neighbor laughed, assuming it was a joke. Then he looked in the toilet. He saw tiny human organs. He called the police immediately. When officers entered Kroll's apartment, they found Marion Ketter's body dismembered. Parts of her were in the refrigerator. A small hand was cooking in a pan of boiling water on the stove. Her intestines had been pushed into the shared waste pipe, causing the blockage. Police removed the communal toilet from the building and found her liver, lungs, kidneys, and heart stored inside the cistern. Kroll was arrested on the spot. He was 43 years old, small, balding, and wore thick glasses. He cooperated immediately and fully. He admitted to killing Marion Ketter and then calmly gave police the details of 13 other murders stretching back 21 years across the Ruhr region of Germany. He answered every question. He showed no distress. He ate dinner in his cell that night and went to sleep. The justice system and the end. Joachim Kroll was formally charged, tried, and on April 8, 1982, 6 years after his arrest, he was convicted of 8 murders and 1 attempted murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. The remaining confessed murders could not all be proven in court to the required standard. He was never sent to a conventional prison. Psychiatric evaluation found him to have severe intellectual disabilities, and he was committed to a secure psychiatric prison facility where he would spend the rest of his life. Staff who worked with him during his imprisonment described him in consistent terms: cooperative, childlike, utterly without any apparent understanding of the magnitude of what he had done. He made no effort to minimize his crimes. He simply did not seem to grasp them. Joachim Kroll died on July 1, 1991, of a heart attack inside the psychiatric prison facility. He was 58 years old. He had spent 15 years behind bars. The children of his apartment building who had called him Uncle Joachim grew up. 14 confirmed victims. 21 years. 6 innocent men arrested for his crimes. 2 of them dead because of it. And the entire thing ended because he blocked a toilet and told a neighbor the truth when asked. That is the documented story of Joachim Kroll, the Ruhr cannibal. The man nobody noticed. The man children trusted. The man who smiled in the hallway. If this hit you the way it was meant to hit you, like this video right now, share it and subscribe. New cases every single week. And they only get darker from here.